Welcome back to the penultimate episode of this series for Unit 6. We're on topic E now, which is probably the smallest topic of the lot. So this is called Impact of Change. So change is a process that all businesses have to address. They go through change, they have to adapt, they have to compete with other businesses. Businesses respond to the environment in which they operate. Now that doesn't mean like environment as in like trees and grass and things like that, like the environment as in the other businesses that are fighting against them. So McDonald's will have to compete in the fast food environment market. So why is change important? Well, if we just stay exactly the same, we're going to struggle as a business. So it helps us, if we do change, to sustain a competitive advantage. It helps us have something that other competitors don't have that we have. It also aligns business strategy with the evolving nature of customer needs and wants. Customers' needs and wants change over time, so we have to change to meet those needs. Businesses can take advantage of developing technologies. So if we're looking at technology and things improve in technology, for example, like self-service checkouts for supermarkets, that enables businesses to keep their costs down and allows them to be more competitive. Stakeholders can also gain from improved productivity and work environments. So if we change, make our business better, stakeholders are going to benefit from that. We're going to look at stakeholders in a bit more depth in a minute. So there are things within and outside of control of a business that will impact on change. So things that are within the business, we call them internal factors. So, who are the managers? What are they likely to want to do? External factors are things outside of the business's control that will impact on change. So stuff like development of technology, laws, things like that. So quite a few points here for internal factors that influence change then. So it could be who owns the business, who's the leadership within the business. If there's a change to the ownership structure, that can impact on change. If we decide to change the strategic direction of the business, that will impact on change. If we decide to do some sort of significant investment, like a very expensive change, that can also impact on the business. If we make changes to the scope of business activities, so if we've had quite a narrow scope before where we were maybe only selling 2 or 3 things and then we want to sell 100 things, that's going to change the business. And also the organizational structure, if we adjust that, that might impact on how the business changes. Okay, so things outside of the business that could impact on change. Significant competitor activity. So again, if McDonald's, cut their prices or something, that might have a big impact on Burger King and they might need to change. Political and legal changes, so we will have to change with that, otherwise we won't be complying with the law. Economic environment, so if the financial world isn't doing particularly well, people have got less money, again we need to change for that. If costs go up, we will have to change that, maybe change our supplier or change our type of production. Ethics and social values, so again, if things change in the world, in the social area, maybe we need to adapt our business to that. Globalization, I've talked about in previous topics, but how well we're connected to other countries. If that changes, we also need to change with that. Longer term changes in society and technological change, again, they will all impact on whether or not we can change. So next bit is stakeholders. Got a bit too far. There's more stakeholders than are listed here, but these are the ones that are stated within the specification. So at a minimum, you need to know these really, really well. So shareholders or business owners are the people that own the business. Remember that shareholders are for limited companies, so private and public limited companies, and then sole traders we refer to them as owners. Managers and employees tend to group together because they tend to want the same thing. Customers are the people that are usually buying the product or service. Suppliers are the businesses that are supplying goods to the business that then gets developed and sold on. Banks and other financial providers, so if we borrow money or if we save money with the business. Regulators, these are usually run by the government, and they will regulate how a business is operating to make sure it's complying with like local and national laws and things like that. Government obviously will have an impact, and they will focus on things like is corporation tax being paid and things like that. And local community are going to be interested in making sure that there's low levels of things like air and noise pollution, and they don't disrupt the local area too much. So you might want to have a little think about what all of these stakeholders want. I mean, I've kind of already spoke through this already, but shareholders tend to want good return on investment, good profits, see their finances grow. Managers and employees want good pay. good job security, decent working conditions. Customers want good value for money, good customer service, good quality. Suppliers want a sort of continued profitable trade. They want good financial stability. Banks and other financial providers want their debt to be repaid. Government want the correct amount of taxes to be paid. They want the business to grow and to comply with laws. Local community want potential jobs and success and things like that, but they don't want things like air pollution, noise pollution, stuff like that. Regulators again want them to comply with different rules, laws and legislation and things like that, and they don't want businesses to form a monopoly. Now, this comes up quite often as an exam question, stakeholders conflicting. So there's a few different things here. Have a little think about which stakeholders might conflict in each of these situations. So pause it, and then I'll put some ideas, not necessarily answers, just ideas in just a second. You can compare your answers to those. Okay, some points to consider then. How will the stakeholders measure the success of change? So if we do make changes to the business, are that, different stakeholders might judge that as being a success or not. What is it the stakeholders want to see? What do they want from the business? How much influence do the stakeholders have? Owners tend to have way more influence than, say, like the local community. Could the stakeholders stop or seriously undermine the change if they wanted to? So if you put in for like planning permission to open later, could the local community fight back against that? How important are the stakeholders to the business? Do you rate them? Are they important? Are they likely to impact on it?